August 31st, 2018. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 162 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So we're a day late here. Sorry about that. Dr. Mike, you weren't feeling too well.
Yeah,
so.
I had a rough couple of days.
Yeah, so how are you feeling tonight?
I'm better.
Okay, you're better. You're not 100%, but you're better.
I'm not even close to 100, but I'm better.
All right, well, put on the charm, because
all right.
here we go.
Yeah, if I can't think, it's because my head's in a fog.
Okay, that's fine.
So-
As long as you say funny things, I think you'll be okay, whether it makes sense or not.
Yeah,
that's
chances of it making
it's not that
sense.
important, actually. Come right
Very,
down to it.
very slim chance.
Yeah. Well, the first thing we want to do, on the last episode, we were talking about video poker machines and how the draw cards are determined. And we said that actually when you press the button to deal, the machine actually deals out 10 cards, 5 that you see, and then 5 that are assigned to each spot as the draw
replace.
card that you
Right.
can't see. And while that is true for older machines, it really is not true anymore for newer
machines.
The newer machines really do continue to shuffle in the background so that when you hit that draw button, that it will make a difference as to what your draw cards are.
Right.
So,
Now, these ones that we play at the bar out at Terra's Rincon,
yeah.
some of those are pretty old.
Some are old and some are new. That's a
Yeah.
good question.
I wonder if the old ones are that way. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, they're old. I mean, they're way older.
Some
than,
are very old,
Yeah.
yes. Now, to the player, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
I shouldn't even use the word really. It doesn't matter.
In the long run, it doesn't
It's still random. Yes, it'll matter on a hand-to-hand basis.
Right.
But as far as in the long run goes, it doesn't matter. You know, it's completely random. One of the reasons the companies did this is, see, a computer, there's no computer that comes up with a truly random number. That's why often you'll hear them called pseudo-random number generators.
Right.
It's random enough in most cases. But, but especially with these older machines, how really random was it? They want to prevent anybody from hacking into the machine or recognizing patterns, which can happen with, these pseudo-random numbers. But in any case, Sean's brother-in-law, remember on the last episode, he was saying he tipped that guy $1,000,
Right.
Because he was sitting and talking to him before he hit the draw card. So
Yeah.
maybe that $1,000 tip was legitimate, was
Deserved.
deserved. Yes.
Well, but the same thing could be said if you're sitting at a machine and all of a sudden, a pretty girl walks by and you stop to, watch her walk by.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I always tip.
Or a handsome
I always
guy.
tip.
Yeah, you got to get up, run after him. Hey. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons you pause, and maybe pausing doesn't help you, right? In
It
some
hurts
situation,
you. That's right. The
might
pretty
hurt
girl
you.
walked by and you didn't get your royal.
Well, yeah,
I think
right.
that's what's happening to you every time, Dr.
Maybe
Mike.
that's
now
it.
that I think of it.
I got to focus more on hitting that button.
Yes.
I was thinking about this after we talked about it. I'm playing so fast, and every once in a while I screw up.
Sure. I sit
Well,
next
you
to you
saw me
sometimes.
the other night,
Yeah.
because I'm going so fast,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, darn it. And, I usually see it as I'm hitting
Just
the
as you're
button.
hitting the draw button,
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh, no, I had 2 pair. Why
Right,
did I,
right, right.
So that happens too. And, and so I may not be getting a royal by my own fault, right?
Yeah, yes, that could be just, maybe that is the reason. It's not just bad luck.
Yeah, maybe
It's
it's
that
me.
We're messing up, yeah.
Just slow down. I think I'm going to count a certain nuance to every time I push the button.
Really?
Like I'll push it, and then before I hit draw, I'll count to 8 or something.
All right. I'm looking forward to witnessing this.
People next to me, 1, 2,
Yeah,
3.
you're doing it out loud.
They're talking to
Hold
me.
on,
Shut up.
I can't remember my count. All right. Now, we were in the car. You were saying maybe there were some other mistakes that you wanted to talk about on the show.
Oh, my daughter pointed out a mistake
Okay.
when I was talking about Hoover Dam.
Okay.
I think I said there were 4,200 workers or something. That was per shift.
Okay, so whatever number you gave, I'm not even going to look this up
is
because
wrong.
4,200 is probably not exactly right.
Yeah.
either.
It turns out there was 22,000 workers.
Okay, and
there
they
at all
worked on
times.
shifts
They worked
around
on
the clock.
shifts,
Okay,
right.
all right.
And she also pointed out that it wasn't 69 people who died, it was 96.
Okay, so you got that
transposed
reversed.
those two numbers.
All right.
Now that is according to my daughter. So
Okay, I'm not going to look it
I'm
up
going to go
right
on
now
her
and-
memory because she's young and smart, and
All right,
she
all
probably got it right.
Right. And I think think on the last episode, you said that sort of outside of the casino, you're shy and demure.
Yeah, I'll stand by that.
And I was
that's
thinking,
not
you
a
know,
mistake.
if I came up with 1,000 adjectives to describe you, just, yeah, hey, come up with some adjectives. Those two would not be in the list. Right?
It's so funny.
Shy and demure.
Yeah, it's so funny because my daughters really gave me grief about that. Oh my God, you're not shy. They're giving me grief as we're sitting in the buffet at Harris Rincon eating, and they're saying, Dad, I can't believe you'd say that. You're, if anything, you're not shy or demure. And as they're saying that, I just stood up real loud and yelled, Betty, over here, Betty, we're over here. And I mean, 10 tables around us are all looking at me like, what? Who is he? And they're looking around. There's nobody coming.
Right. And there's no Betty.
There's no
right?
Betty.
You don't know anybody named
No.
Betty. You're just doing it for the benefit of your daughters.
Oh, the girls were so embarrassed. They're turning red. And I said, now, you going to criticize me anymore?
Here's what I will say. And I'm kind of the same way too. If you are, say, you're at a cocktail party.
Right.
And you don't know anybody.
Right.
Your wife's not there, none of your friends, nobody.
Right.
You won't go up to people and instigate conversations.
No,
right. You'll
no.
just kind of stand by yourself and
Exactly.
against the wall.
And
So that's
kind of
what you were getting at.
That's what I was
right?
getting at. But when people come up to me,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to talk and
Yeah.
everything. And if I'm with people I know, obviously I'm pretty loud
Sure.
and demonstrative. But yeah, if I'm alone, I don't initiate conversation. I'm not one of those people that comes up.
Just goes up and says, "Does this smell like fried chicken?"
Yeah. Did I tell you about the guy? I don't know if I told this story on the last podcast. We were at the racetrack, and before we went in, we were waiting outside.
Oh,
And a guy just walked up to us. I am not kidding. Just walked right up to us, me and my wife, and started telling us about how he made certain bets the day before and they didn't win. And then he changed them and then they won. And he just was going on and on about bets he made yesterday. And we're like, you know, we don't know you and we don't care what you bet on yesterday. It wasn't like he was telling us, oh, today, you know, take.
Here's what you need to do.
Yeah. It was so weird. He talked to us for about 4 minutes and then he just said, okay, bye, and left. That's how our life goes. We're going to talk about this later, but since we're on the subject, well, we were in Vegas on our last trip.
Yeah.
My wife and I were playing craps at Planet Hollywood. It was just her and I. 4 couples in a row came up to the table, stood next to my wife, and asked her how to play craps.
Just stepped up to her. For some
her.
reason, asked her.
Picked her, yeah.
Okay.
Stood up next to her, 4 in a row within like 5-minute span. And the first 2 were from New Zealand. They were very nice, wonderful people.
Was Lynn playing with you? You were both playing, or she was just watching?
No, I
or
was
what?
playing, and
Okay.
she was just standing next to me, kind of watching.
Okay, so maybe
And-
she seemed a little more approachable because
Yeah.
she wasn't in the
She
game
wasn't
or
in the
something.
game,
Okay,
but
yeah,
she
yeah.
obviously knew what was going on.
Sure.
So she tried to explain it to the New Zealand people. Then it was a couple of girls, young girls. Then it was 3 young guys who looked like they had no clue. Anyway, it was just, why us?
Well, I'll tell you, folks. So those are all the mistakes. Then
Yeah, that's
getting
it.
back to the mistakes. All right, so folks, if you catch us in a mistake, please let us know. We do want to know. We want to get the right information. Well, like a factual mistake. We don't want you contacting us and correcting our grammar or writing
Or
us
something
and
that I
say-
said stupid that I obviously meant to be stupid.
Dr. Mike, I don't think Armageddon's the best movie ever made. Stuff like
Well,
that.
that
you
I'm
don't
going to
do.
argue with.
But let us know because we like to get the truth out there,
Especially when it comes to gambling.
especially when it
Yeah.
comes to gambling.
I mean, other stuff, politics or whatever.
Well, we're not going to
we're
talk
not-
politics. The number of people who died at Hoover Dam,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, it's a number.
It's some people.
Well, something funny happened to me when we were out at Harrah's this last weekend. So you were at a table that was too crowded.
Right.
And so I went to a different table where there was a spot and there was another spot opening up. So you were going to move over. But
Right.
I was at that table first. And I waited for the 7 out and I threw my money down to cash in. Meanwhile, the guy next to me, where you were going to come over and sit, he was leaving. So you were going to take his spot and he was coloring up. So before they cashed in my money, they colored up his money. And I may have stepped away from the table and told you, so, oh yeah, come over here. Look, we're going to be right next to this. So I get back and I'm waiting for my chips. And the dealer in front of me, who's ready to cut out the chips, he looks over to the dealer who's in front of the drop there and says, where's the cash? Where's the cash I put there?
Yeah.
They had dropped my money down the hole before they'd given me any chips, before it had even been counted.
Before, it wasn't even counted.
Right,
That's
so
the thing. It wasn't even counted.
It wasn't even counted. So even the eye in the sky, it's like
has no clue.
nothing. And I mean, luckily I'm a regular, and
Right.
Mario was the pit boss. He said, "Well, how much you buy in for?" And I bought in for 1,000, which I had.
Yeah.
And it's pretty consistent. I'll buy in for 1,000
Right.
when I go. So, since it was me, they cut it out, and we had a good laugh about it. But oh my, I've never seen that. And what if it was a different situation where
What if it's somebody they don't know?
somebody they don't know, and the guy said,
there was 3,000.
I was $3,000.
Yeah.
It was so funny that they dropped it with that. That really did surprise me because it hadn't been counted out. When they count it out, it's kind of separated. They flip
Right.
every bill once in a
Right.
while. I didn't see her drop it, so I don't know if she assumed it had been collected or what.
Now,
but-
here's the procedure for people who don't know. Okay, Mark gives him his 1,000. He lays it down. The dealer in front of him takes that 1,000, puts it over in front of either at Harris Rincon, it's the person who's flipping the cards.
Right, but it might be a
Or it might be a
boxman.
boxman or somebody else like that.
Or
Anyway,
pit boss.
Or
Could
a
be.
pit
Mhm.
boss.
Yep.
And they typically will take the money, count it out in 500s. So
Yes, or if it's 20s, they'll break it into
520s.
hundreds.
Yeah, they'll do
five
5
bills in
or
each
500
row. Yeah,
in each row, and they'll do that up to $2,500.
typically that's the limit before
So if
they
you
drop.
bought in for 5,000, they would count out 2,500. Then they would stack that, put it off to the side. Then they would count the other 2,500, and then say, okay, it's 5,000.
And that limit
So-
would depend on the casino, but that's
but
typical.
typically
Mhm.
it's 2,500. And so 5 times 5, basically, I think is what it is. So after they've counted the money, the pit boss or whoever will say, okay, that's, $1,000. Mark's got 1,000. The dealer will cut out $1,000, however, you want it
in chips.
in chips. And then they will slide the chips to you, probably near the pass line.
Yeah, real close to you so you can pick them up.
And technically, they're not supposed to drop the money until you've picked all those chips up and put them in the rail. Not on the table.
Yeah,
They wait until you've actually picked them up and put them in the rail in case there's any discrepancy.
right.
Once they're in your rail, then that's your responsibility. Then they drop the money. So it wasn't like even close.
He hadn't even cut the chips yet.
Yeah, he hadn't even got the chips. I mean, it's funny. She must have thought that was from something else.
Oh,
but,
I'm
I
sure.
don't-
Well, it didn't help that they were coloring up somebody else first, and it
Right.
didn't help that I probably stepped away from the table when I shouldn't.
Right.
Got a little cocky there with, I gotta go talk to Dr. Mike. We're here every week. So
It's funny though; they didn't have any problem giving you 1,000.
no, it's like, all right, cut it out.
And it's funny. I mean, you're not going to lie to them because
No, of
because
course
they're
not.
kind of
It's
like our friends almost too. I mean, we know everyone there,
Yeah.
but you could have easily said, "Oh, it's 1,200."
Yeah, right. Just some other amount.
Yeah, I mean, they
That's
wouldn't
not-
know any
That's not my
difference.
style. thank
I was
goodness.
pushing for them to take the box out and count it all.
Well, that's the thing. Is what do? Do you find out what bills are on top? There's really no way
No,
to deal
there's
with it.
absolutely
That's
no
a terrible
way.
situation.
There's
that
absolutely
luckily
no
worked
way.
out okay.
You'd have to go back until that box was empty when the table opened, right? And then count out every buy-in.
All right. So you mentioned that you did go to Vegas again here a couple of weeks ago. Any stories from that at all? It probably was a
No,
short trip.
it was-
Yeah.
Well, we got there Friday night.
What, winning trip?
A winning trip.
Good,
Yes,
good,
it was
good.
a good trip. It was actually a very good trip. And nothing really outstanding. One guy had a monster roll at Planet Hollywood again.
Great.
And that was good. I will say this. We went to the Cromwell in the morning on Saturday morning.
Okay.
And terrible dealers.
Really?
Really, I mean, just bad dealers. I mean, they were not friendly. They were not, even my wife is like, we were the only ones on the table.
Yeah.
And they were just not engaging or friendly or anything. It was like they couldn't just wait to, you to leave so they could stand around and chat.
Gosh, what a shame. I mean,
and then, in the night,
we've talked about how great it is there, but we have had at least 3 bad experiences there too. Now it seems like it's earlier in the day,
it's always been in the morning.
but still, I mean, that's awful. That's
Yeah.
really too bad.
It's weird. And then the evening was fine.
Yeah.
We went there in the evening and everything was good. It was, they were happy and engaging. I don't know if they don't want to be there in the morning. It's not the same people either.
No,
I mean,
no.
it was
Well, then-
these 3 guys I had never even seen before.
Maybe in the morning they're towards the end of their shift. They've been up all night. I don't know
I don't
how
know.
early you were there, but
Well, it wasn't that early. It's like
Yeah.
9:30,
Oh,
10.
okay.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like early morning. But other than that, everything else was good.
Okay.
We had a good time. And we just basically went because I got a Visa card.
Yeah.
And so, we picked that up and we gambled and we left early Sunday morning.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, we got a couple of emails here. First one from Drew. He says, I have a hypothetical for you guys. Let's presume the table is in the middle of a hot roll. Ignoring logic concerning the legitimacy of hot rolls, what bets would you make given different bankroll sizes to maximize your profits? Yeah, maximize profits.
You know what's funny is hot roll or bad roll, my bets are always the same.
Here's the thing. Mine are always the same too. I don't make different bets. Now I'll press my bets after maybe a certain number of rolls.
Mine will get higher.
But I don't make different bets.
No, mine will get higher, but I'm not going to make any. You know how I usually don't take 4 and 10.
Right.
I mean, and even in a hot roll, sometimes I don't take 4 and 10. I just don't take them.
After the shooters made a lot of money for me, I'll start pressing it, but there's no legitimate reason to do so. I'm playing with house money. No, that's really your money now, and there's nothing special about this hot roll. He could be picking up the dice for the first time, and it's a come out roll. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, and as soon as you do press a bet, you know what happens. Not that it's supposed to. It's just it just seems like
that because that's what you remember.
Right.
But no, all we do is increase our bets, but we can't say that maximizes profits.
No,
that's kind of a poor way of.
If anything, without any basis for this, I will say that it probably hurts me more than it helps me by far.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think, this guy's having a hot roll, and all of a sudden I'm pressing instead of collecting.
Yeah.
And then, the 7 comes and I was like, well, I just left $1,800 on the table.
Yeah.
And I won, $1,000 for his roll.
Absolutely. We can think of some of the great, fantastic monster rolls from our past. And we're thinking, oh man, we got it pressed up so much. But there are plenty of other times where we start to press and then the 7 out comes.
Right.
We would have been much better if we just collected, and not pressed at all, just collected all the way to the end.
Well, at least every week I tell you that, right? Why didn't I just collect? Why did I press?
Yeah. And me, I don't like rhetorical questions, so I'll always answer something like, well, because you're an idiot, or because you're
Oh yeah, don't give Mark a rhetorical.
Yeah, don't do that, because I'll answer it.
Yeah, he'll answer
angrily.
Yeah, and you won't like the answer, believe me.
All right, an email from Ethan. He says, what would be harder, or who would complain more? For Mark to play like Dr. Mike, adjusted down for bankroll purposes, making hard ways, two-way worlds, hot bets, etc., or for Dr. Mike to have to play Mark's way, more conservative, no hard ways, no worlds, no hot bets, no future bets, for an entire 5 to 6 hour session.
I don't even think we need to answer this, because I think anyone who's heard us or listened to us knows exactly the answer.
Go ahead and give them the answer.
Well, it's me. I could never play like you.
It would be way harder for you.
Way harder.
Yeah, you would be pulling your hair out.
Yeah, that'd be torture. That'd be I'd rather be sick again.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if I had to bet your way, well, okay, 5, 6 hours. Yeah, give me a hard ways. Go ahead.
If you're forced into it.
Give me no, it would be much harder for you. You look over at me when we're playing, and I'm just sitting there doing nothing. Just all my bets are already out there.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell the dealers anything. My bets are already made.
Mark's typical line is, my bets are out there. I'm ready. And I'm like, yeah, well, when you make 2 bets, it's not that hard.
Much harder for Mike. Yep. I actually wrote to Ethan. I said, this is a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, right. Yep. It's a good question, but
it is good, but it's way harder for you.
Way harder.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. And really, we do want to thank you. There have been some big purchases here, and we notice them. We see. Yes. So we definitely appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline segment. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is David.
Hey guys, this is David Henry calling you with a quick trip report from my most recent trip to come out there to Vegas and sign up for the Super Contest. We had a 3-day stay, got in Friday night, left on Sunday at the downtown Grand, which was awesome as always. Got there early and ended up having a quick lunch over at Bomb Tacos downtown, which is a newer street tacos place. Phenomenal, super cheap, and very filling. I would recommend 3 tacos for any of your listeners. We then went over to the Westgate Sportsbook to sign up for the Super Contest, first time ever, as part of a bucket list deal for us. And it was very easy, very quick for them to take my $1,500. We then went over to the Golden Tiki and ended up back downtown after a couple of tiki drinks, feeling pretty good about ourselves at the Downtown Grand, which really beat us up on that first Friday night, and then back over to the Cal, which was hit or miss. Woke up the next morning, went over to Hash House and Go-Go for breakfast at the Plaza. Very good. Huge portions. Anyone could put any item on their menu. Then we went over to the Mob Museum, to the Speakeasy over at the Underground, which was super cool. If you go into the museum, they're going to tell you that the Underground is closed. So make sure you've got the password from Instagram and go over to the stairs and around back. And it was very cool. Your drink comes to you very hidden inside of a book, just like in the old days. It's in a pint glass, and you get a book that you have to open and pour your own drink. We then went back to the Grand to gamble, and we were at the craps table, and they actually lost power that night, which was crazy. So we were at the craps table, and they lost power for 8 hours. Very cool to see the crew jump into motion and cover up all the chips. Very depressing to be ready to play about, 4 or 5 hours with the craps and that to happen. However, we then ended up walking over to Fremont Experience, which still did have power, and we ended up playing at the Plaza in a party pit. Very underrated. There was 3 of us, and we played blackjack. We covered the whole table for about 4 hours, and then we went over to the Cal, who was still without power and working on a generator, and we played for about 6 hours until 3:30 in the morning at the Cal with no power, backup generator lights, and no AC. Very good, up and down. Ended up down $100 for the trip. But all in all, if you consider I signed up for the Super Contest and I ate, that's a pretty darn good trip. Seriously, love the podcast. You guys are awesome. Dave from Thousand Oaks. Take care.
Yeah, that big storm, knocked out power there. We've been there when it's rained before, right? And we've seen the flooding, right? Like the behind the link there and what have you.
And that still floods. As a matter of fact, on our last trip, we took a cab back to the airport because we didn't want to wait for the limo. Yeah. And I asked the cab driver, "Does this still flood?" He said, "Oh yeah, every time."
It's intentional. It's actually, they divert the water that way. So when you see it flooded there. But yeah, this was a big one, power outages and wind and everything. It's great that they had a generator going at Cal. They were able to play, but no AC. Oh, yikes. Yeah. I know it's late at night, but it's still Vegas. That would have been rough.
Yeah, it'd been rough. That's time to go back to the room.
Thanks for a good story. Let's talk about this super contest that he was mentioning at Westgate that they run every year. So it's a football contest, NFL contest. Right. It's $1,500 to enter. And I think if you want to, you can still enter. I think September 8th, which is the Saturday of the NFL season, week 1, I think up to 11 a.m.
But the first game's Thursday.
Well, you don't. That's the part of the super contest. It's not. It doesn't count the Thursday games.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
it's just Sunday games.
Yeah, and I assume Monday games too. Okay. But it's not the Thursday games.
Oh, okay.
So you can still sign up. But what you do is every week you pick 5 games against the spread. And you got to get your picks in, again, the Saturday of every week. I think it's 11 a.m.
Okay.
And the picks must be made in person at the Westgate. And what you can do, since not everybody lives in Vegas and might want to take part in this, you can get a proxy, a friend of yours or whoever, a proxy, to actually make your picks every week for you.
So they'd have to live in Vegas.
Probably would have to live in Vegas. Now,
or close enough that they drove every week.
Right. When you sign in, initially, when you sign up for the contest, you have to do it with your proxy. So you both have to be there in person to sign up. But then to pick each week, your proxy can do it. So 5 games against the spread each week, and then at the end of the season, whoever has picked the most wins first place. And again, a $1,500 entry fee. I printed out kind of their pay structure here.
Right.
Prize structure based on 3,500 entries. First place gets 33% of the pot, which would be almost $1.6 million.
Nice.
So, and the place that gets paid all the way through 100th place, those final places only get 0.5%, but it's still, you make your money back. Right. Again, based on 3,500 entries. So anyway, kind of a neat thing, that they do every year. So if you're interested, there is still time, like I said, like a week left to go. But if you want a proxy, and there are actually proxy services. If you look online,
I was going to say there must be a service.
Yeah, you can find people. Now, I don't know how trustworthy they are or whatever, but you're entering as yourself. So they've got all of your information. So when the proxy makes the picks for you, it's associated with with you. It's not like afterwards the proxy can say, "Oh, those were my picks, not the other guy." You know, they're associated with your
But
entry.
you probably have to pay the proxy something if you're using a service.
I would guess so.
Whether
Yes, if
you
it's
win
not
or
a friend,
lose.
yes, that I'm
Right.
sure is the case. So
Well,
better
let's
to find
call-
somebody who lives
Let's
there.
call Derek Stevens.
Okay.
And see if he'll do it.
Do it
for
a
us.
proxy for us.
Yeah.
Derek, we'll meet you over Westgate. We'll see. I bet he'll do it.
Yeah, we'll both put in, a little money. Maybe Derek will go in with a three-way, and we'll.
That's right. Who is this? Click. So- All right, next call.
Yeah, hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Bob calling from London, Ontario, Canada. I've been listening pretty regularly for about 3 years, and I've also gone back and listened to several other earlier episodes, depending on the topics. Episode 7, you talked about a guy who, after the point was rolled, would place the point instead of taking odds on the pass line bet. And you asked the guy why he did it, and the answer didn't really make a lot of sense, but it seemed simple enough. You take the odds because obviously you're going to get more money when you hit that point. So the question I'm getting to here is place betting versus odds on a pass line or a come bet. So I'm a low roller. I play $5, $10 pass line, double or triple odds. Then I do a couple of come bets, same way. And I'm also a relative newcomer. I don't usually place the numbers, but I was watching a Color Up YouTube video which was discussing the pros and cons of two different methods. In one case, you would place the 5, 6, 8, and 10, or you'd play the pass line and a couple of come bets with odds. So they were saying, for example, with pass line and come bets, the number really has to hit twice in order to win. You got to hit it once to establish it, then you got to hit it again to win it, even though you get a bigger payout when you do hit it that second time. So just like your thoughts on whether there's a right way to do this mathematically, or if it's just an either-or thing. Because, as I say, for now, right now, I'm just doing pass line and a couple of come bets, and that's basically how I play the game. So just wanted to see what your thoughts were, and I do love your podcast primarily because the snark level is much lower than many of the Vegas podcasts that I listen to, so you can pass that on to them and be like, thanks again, Mark and Dr. Mike, and I hope to hear your comments.
Yeah, the old come bets versus place bets.
Yeah, this is a never-ending
the dilemma,
question, really.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, the right way to do it mathematically, if that's your question, is to make come bets.
Right.
You can just work through the math. There's no question. If you're playing with the same amount of money, you will lose less in the long run playing come bets than playing place bets. Right?
Yeah, and that empirically, if you think about it, makes sense because you're limiting your exposure. When you make place bets, you're probably going to place 2 or 3 or 4 numbers right after the points established, right? And so an immediate 7 out is going to kill you.
Right.
Whereas with come bets, it's not. And if you limit the number of come bets,
That's actually a good point. You're talking about limiting your exposure. This is sort of built into making come bets.
Right.
When you win a come bet, it comes down.
Right.
You know, it comes down. And typically you're not going to bring down place bets. Of course you can. But typically players
how many
don't.
times have you seen that?
So not only mathematically, but sort of the way the game is structured too, you're going to lose less money in the long run making the come bets. Now, how should you play? There's the philosophical question, right? If you prefer, and there are people who prefer to make place bets. They just like the action right there,
Right.
get paid off right away. And if you do catch a hot roll, well, it's great that you made the place bets right away. So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. One thing I don't like is when I hear, well, with a come bet, you have to hit the number twice.
Right.
Because that's not really true. Let's say a guy's rolled 2 12s in a row. Right? And everybody says, oh my gosh, what are the chances of him rolling 3 12s?
Yeah, 1 in 36.
Yeah, the real answer to how it's very hard to roll 3 in a row, but he's already rolled 2.
Right.
I don't know if it's exactly the same, but with the come bets, see, you don't have to roll it the first time.
Right.
Let's say you made a place bet on a 5, okay? And the first roll is a 7 out. Okay, the 5 loses, the place bet on the 5 loses. The come bet on the 5, well, it never got there. Right.
Right.
So it's 0. So if it happens 0 times,
Right.
come bet is the way to go. No, you have to think of it as, okay, if you didn't win or lose your come bet on that first roll, right? 7, 11
Right.
win, 2, 3, 12 you lose. Whatever number is rolled, that now becomes your winning number. It's not like you have to hit it twice.
Right.
Because it's already come up once to determine
Right.
what your number is.
Yeah,
So-
what you're saying is once it's established, you don't have to hit it twice. You only have to hit it once because you didn't have it before.
You didn't have it before. You didn't have to hit it that first time. All right.
right.
It's kind of a funny way to talk about it, but
Well, I'll tell you what. And there's a guy out at Harris Rincon that plays this way, and he does what he's doing essentially is combining come bets and place bets. So he does not make a pass line bet.
right.
After the point's established, he places the 6 and 8, regardless of what the point is. He places 6 and 8 for $150 each.
Yeah, even if the point is 6 or 8 is what you're saying, right?
Right. So if the point's 6, he just places the 6 and he places the 8,
Right.
150 each. If one of them hits, he pulls them both down. So he had $300 out there. So he'll get 175. So he'll pull down the 475 and he'll go back and he'll place the inside numbers for like $80.
Yeah.
Or I
Total.
mean, 110.
The
or-
total. So
yeah,
like
total.
25 on each. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
25 on each. And then he just, from there, he just presses.
Right.
And that's his way of not throwing a lot of place bets out there. The flaw is if it's an immediate 7 out, he's lost $300.
Yes, of course.
He's just hoping that a 6 or 8 hit. And I've seen it where he does that and 4 9s come up and then 7 out.
Sure, right. Yeah,
Right. And he's just sitting there thinking, come on, 6 or 8. Well, he still lost $300. If he had made one place bet and went up to 9 and kept a place bet, he'd been off and on 3 times.
You mean a
right?
come bet.
I mean, come bet.
Yeah.
So, what's the right way to play?
Yeah, see that there's so many different ways you can play.
Yeah.
One thing we can say for sure though is come bets are mathematically the better bet to make
Yeah, in the long run.
in the long run.
In the long
Anything
run.
can happen today. Yeah. All right, let's hear from Mike.
Hey, Mark and Mike. It's Mike from New Jersey. Actually, starting to get through all your archive shows on show 80. And I want to give a quick trip report from Schenectady, New York, and also the Saratoga Casino. The Schenectady, New York Rivers Casino was pretty good. It was a 2 tables, $10 minimum table, 3, 4, 5 time odds. Cashed in for 200, went down to my last chips, and then cashed out for 500. So actually good, quick trip. Dealers were really nice. Surprisingly, they thanked every time I made a tip for them, whether it won or lost, they thanked you. And even after the shooter 7'd out, again, they remind you to thank you for the shoot and the tips. Also, I wanted to say that the Saratoga Casino, it's mostly a slot parlor. There is one electronic craps machines that we played at for a little bit, but it was very stressful. The time limit is literally 5 seconds to place your bets after each roll, so it wasn't as fun as playing live craps, but that's all they had there. All right, thanks a lot. Great show. I'll speak to you guys later. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. The Saratoga Casino is a racino, so it doesn't have table games, whereas the Rivers is a full-blown casino with all the table games and everything. So
I think one point that Mike made that I really like is when dealers say thank you no matter what.
Absolutely.
Win or lose,
Yeah.
at the end of a roll, sometimes they don't specifically acknowledge one person, but the stick man will say, thanks for all the bets, everybody.
Sure, if there are a lot of people, but usually
If there's just one person, they usually will take their stick, tap it in front of you and said, thanks for the bets.
Or thanks for the try.
Yeah,
a lot
thanks
of
for the
times
try.
if they lost, thanks for the try. That is big when especially when they thank on a loss.
It's huge. There's one dealer out at Harrah's Rincon that always says thank you for the fire bets. After the roll's over.
Oh, really? After
as
the
he's
roll's
collecting,
over. That's
he'll say,
great.
thank you for the fire bets.
Great.
And I always appreciate that in the back of your head. It's just a little thing, but as a player, it makes you feel happy. Like, well, at least they acknowledge that, we're trying for them.
Yep.
Because, they don't win every bet.
No.
But they win enough.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we've talked about it. The crew is the most important thing, and that's a big part of it.
How they do the other night, last Saturday.
What did they draw? Yeah, we did keep track. Remember, we were saying on the last episode, like, how much do you tip them?
Yeah.
And we did start keeping track. And then towards the end, it's like, oh, did you get that one? I forgot to do it.
We forgot a few.
I don't know, $700?
Oh, no, it was 1,061.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Yes, over 1,000.
It was 1,061 at your last count.
Okay,
That's
and then,
how much they dropped in the box.
Yeah.
And we might have missed a few, so it might have been more like 1,200 or
Okay.
something.
Yeah. Nice.
So, that's a pretty good night.
Very good night. Yeah.
Too bad they have to share it with the whole casino.
And too bad we lost.
Yeah.
Wasn't that bad a loss, but
No.
we lost. Yeah. All right. Next up is Anthony.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Anthony from Youngstown, Ohio. First-time caller. I've been listening to the pod for 3 or 4 months now. I discovered it and really enjoy the show. Me and my buddies learned how to play craps in my grandfather's basement. He had a makeshift little craps table, and he taught us the game at a very young age. Illegal to actually play in a casino at that time, but as we got older and were able to play, we went to the casino with him. He taught us the ropes, and we became very addicted to it, much like you two. My question is, I recently got married, and my wife seems to be bad luck when it comes to playing craps. Very negative. I still get many offers to go out to Vegas, not at your guys' level, but I get rooms comped and little small gifts to go out there. And I've taken her a couple times out there, and it just feels like I just can't get rolling, and it's just constantly just throwing money away where I can't get anything going at all, and it's frustrating. So my question is, if you guys ever went through that with your significant others when you guys got married, and how you cope with it, and if you believe in, the positive energies of a table and the good juju, as we call it. So look forward to your answer. Thanks. Great show.
Well, Anthony,
I'll answer
I think
this.
you've only got one choice, and unfortunately, I think you know what it is.
I'll answer this.
All right.
First of all, Anthony's from Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay.
Which is the first place my dad lived when he came to America.
Really? I didn't
Yes.
know that. Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
He went from Greece to Australia to Canada to Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And he went to Youngstown because his parents knew some people who lived there.
Okay.
So it was a little easier for him to, and he became a citizen of the United States in Youngstown,
Nice.
Ohio. So that's a shout out for Youngstown, Ohio.
All right, a little trivia. Good.
Yeah. Anyway, my wife thinks that she's bad luck for me
Okay.
because honestly, every time she's with me at a craps table, it doesn't ever seem to go that well for me. She might win, but I don't do so well. So she always says she's bad luck. Now, her solution, not mine, because I don't think she's bad luck. I played a lot of craps and I know that it's just up and down. She's not with me that often. I mean,
well, compared to how much you play, of course.
right, compared to how much I play. It'd be like me saying, I never win with Mark. Well, we go so often that we have some big wins together and we have some big losses together too. But our solution, or at least my wife's solution, I should say, is she comes to the table with me. I buy in, we start playing, and then a few minutes later, she goes and plays a video game close enough that she can actually see me at the table,
Okay.
but not next to me. And that formula seems to work out wonderfully.
Oh, okay, good.
Because I'm not kidding. Every time she does that, I seem to win, and she goes over to some slot machine and, ends up winning 78 cents or
Right.
something crazy. But I seem to have better luck at the.
Well, I
craps
will
table.
say when it's the three of us, you,
Yes.
me, and your wife, we
Right.
do very well.
Yes, we do very well. Yeah. It must be something with me, you, and her. Yeah. When it is the three of us, we've always done very
It's
well.
very well.
Yeah.
No, Anthony, it's not your wife. No, we don't believe in the positive energy of the game, at least as far as winning and losing.
Right.
Yeah, you can, as far as how good a time you're having, that can depend a lot upon,
Yeah,
the
and
vibe at the table. But no,
Right.
it's
I think that when there is positive energy and everyone's happy, it's a much funner environment.
Sure,
And
yes,
so you tend to
exactly.
remember
It's
if you've
it's more
won.
fun, yes.
Right. But what's funny is everyone can be real happy, but if the rolls aren't going good, all of a sudden everyone gets pretty quiet.
That's true.
Or
And then
leaves.
they leave.
Right.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then they leave.
yeah.
So.
So give your wife another chance, Anthony. I think things will turn around. All right, let's hear from our buddy Tim Lawson.
Hey guys, Tim from The Better Life here. Out of desperation for more content, I've gone back and started listening to You Can Bet on That from episode 1. And I think in episode 3, you mentioned, you're talking about 3-card poker, and you mentioned that you believe that it's maybe the second most popular table card game in the casino, and that maybe a little bit over Pai Gow. And I think that episode was from like 2012. I'm curious if 6 years later you feel the same way, or if you think Pai Gow has gained enough popularity to maybe become second behind blackjack. All right, thanks, fellas.
Well, blackjack still is the most popular card-based table game. Baccarat probably brings in the most money,
Oh, definitely brings in the
right?
most
Because
money.
the high rollers go there. So you're talking about that. But as far as popularity goes, I don't know, Mike, if you'll agree with me, I still think it's 3-card poker just because the average casino goer can just walk up to a 3-card poker table and play. They don't really have to have any additional knowledge, even about poker and how that goes. So,
yeah. Well, 3-card poker is so simple.
yeah, you play or you don't.
You play or you don't. I mean,
somebody
Pai Gow,
can-
you actually have to make some decisions.
Yes.
And that can be a little complicated. And when somebody's learned Pai Gow, I think they probably would prefer playing that versus 3-card poker. But I think the average person just going into a casino is not going to walk up and say, teach me Pai Gow.
So what do you think?
They would rather go, I agree with you.
Do you think it's still 3-card poker?
I think
still?
second would probably be 3-card poker.
I couldn't.
Now, it might be close.
It could very well be
but
close.
I still think it'd
I'm
be
trying to
3-card
think of
poker.
other games. Ultimate Texas Hold'em is kind of gaining ground, but things like Mississippi Stud, and people don't really play that very much,
Right.
and Caribbean Stud and some of these other games. I couldn't find anything online to really back this up. Blackjack was still way ahead, but then they kind of grouped everything else behind that. So we don't know for sure, but
Right.
I'm still thinking.
Yeah, we
3-card
probably have to
poker.
get a casino insider.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can look at the number of tables.
Well, but then you're just looking at a single casino too, right? I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of casinos that have 3-card poker and no Pai Gow at all.
Right.
Maybe because it's such a slow game too, right? They're not making as much money on it. So
I'm just hoping Pai Gow Tiles takes off.
you do, huh?
Yeah. And then it'd just be all, we have 8 blackjack tables and 6 Pai Gow tile tables.
I'll tell you what, Mike, I want you to get to the point that when they give you the 4 tiles, you don't have to look at them. You actually use your fingers to touch underneath them to determine what the dominoes are and then set them based on what you felt with your fingers underneath.
People can do that.
Yeah, I want to see you do that.
You want to see me do that?
Yes.
Well, it's going to be, I'm going to be sick again before I can do that.
Well, that's not that big a deal. You're going to be sick this week.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Tim. All right. Let's hear from Tyler.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Tyler from Minnesota. I'm calling about a 2-part call today. One, since starting to listen to your show a few months ago at the suggestion from my dad, I actually went to get the Players Club cards on the casinos we already go to, and we've been getting a lot more offers from them. I typically play blackjack and some slot play, which is normal because we don't have craps here in Minnesota. But my wife and I were able to enjoy a nice dinner for a date night on probably our best comp that was given. It was $100 to a steakhouse in the casino, and then $85 free play and a free hotel to our local casino in Red Wing, Minnesota, as Treasure Island. So we really enjoyed that. Gambling, it was up and down, but it was fun to enjoy a nice, quote-unquote, free evening. And then second is my dad and I just love this podcast. We love the idea of craps. We can't wait to go play. We have a trip to Iowa planned here in the middle of September to go help my brother down there, but we're going to sneak away and play craps for an evening. But we were at the cabin earlier this year, and we set up a craps table, and we made a false backdrop that said Muckleshoot on it. And my kids got a kick out of it. I asked my dad, hey, do you want to do something? And my...
And then for some reason, Tyler's call got cut off there. It wasn't at the 3-minute mark. I don't know why it did. I actually reached out to Tyler to tell him, that the call got cut off. He said the funny story that kind of got cut off was that his daughter didn't remember that the game was called craps, but referred to it as Muckleshoot because of the sign. So that's good.
She's looking for where are the Muckleshoot tables?
That's right.
What? Excuse me, ma'am?
Mike, do you think this whole Muckleshoot thing has been played out?
No.
No. Okay.
It's Muckleshoot, Mark.
All right.
Oh my God, it's got to be the funniest name. Hey, do you think Treasure Island is the most common name for a casino in the United States?
No, that can't be. No, I don't think so.
There's a Treasure Island up by San Francisco.
Yeah, I know. Maybe, but I mean, okay, if you're not counting brands like Harrah's,
right?
Because
I'm not
things like
no,
brands
I'm
like
not
that.
counting brands like that. I
don't know, Hollywood. There are a lot of Hollywood casinos.
There's a lot of Hollywood casinos. Yeah,
that'd be my guess. If you're completely ignoring brand names, and even
which
in
makes
that
no
case,
sense. Hollywood, like Hollywood, California is the mecca for gambling.
Well, at least when the casino out here, that's Hamul Casino now, when it used to be called Hollywood, it had a Hollywood theme. I mean, you could go in; it definitely had the Art Deco and kind of a Hollywood theme to it. So I don't know.
Yeah, so does Planet Hollywood, but
All right, my guess is that it's Hollywood is the most common, but then you could argue, like I said, that that's a brand name.
Right.
So I don't know. Trip
let's just keep pushing for Muckleshoot casinos to open all over the country.
All right. The legend continues. All right. Let's hear from our buddy Todd.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Todd from Minnesota with a trip report from Lake Tahoe and Reno last week. We stayed at the Hyatt Regency in Incline Village, which is on the north shore of the lake on the Nevada side. The hiking, boating, and scenery was amazing, but you probably just want to hear about the gambling. The Hyatt advertised a small casino with both table games and machines. Honestly, I wasn't expecting very much. I figured I'd play the daily $5 match play coupon, and that would probably be about it. But I was pleasantly surprised with the machines anyhow. The table games were pretty much dead all week. They had one blackjack table open all the time. I never saw a minimum less than $15. They also had one Ultimate Texas Hold'em, one 3-card poker table, one mini Bach that were somewhat open. There were probably 8 to 10 other blackjack tables that I never saw open. One roulette wheel that was open, I think, only on the weekends. 2 craps tables. One was never open. The other opened around 10 a.m., closed probably around 2 a.m. Craps had either $15 or $25 minimums, even when it was empty. A couple of times it did drop to $10 right when the table opened, which is when I played my match play coupons, but otherwise it didn't seem like my kind of game. The video poker, however, was really good compared to what Amanda and I are used to. No full pay machines, but darn close at 9-5 jacks or better, or 8-6 jacks or better, all the way down to nickels. They had a good variety of 3, 5, and 10 play machines, multi-strike, Ultimate X, and 50 and 100 play machines. They also had quick quads, which I've heard Bob Dancer talk about for years, but had never played. Well, the first hand I played, I was explaining to Amanda what a quick quad was, and boom, I got one. 10, 10, 10, 6, 4. Midway through the trip, playing quick quads at the nickel level, I finally got my first royal flush. I was so excited. We also ended our trip in Reno. We hit a couple of the older casinos downtown. I've always heard that Reno is basically garbage, run down, a waste of time. They have outstanding video poker, however. Full pay machines all the way down to nickel levels. I was watching a craps game and Amanda ran over. Todd, they've got 9-6 jacks for nickels. The Peppermill Casino is beautiful. They have large projection screen landscapes that they put up on the walls and rotate around every few minutes. It's a low roller haven, and I strongly expect we'll be back. It was a great trip. Thanks for the podcast.
All right, good. Thanks, Todd. Yeah, congratulations on the first Royal. He posted it, and we were looking. It was only a nickel, and he was playing 5 play, but that's a Royal, my friend.
That is
you
a
get
Royal.
a Royal like that, so congratulations.
Never happening.
No, not for us. No.
Nope.
See, now he was talking about that small casino where they were staying, right? Had a 3-card poker. He didn't mention Pai Gow, so I assume
No.
it didn't have Pai Gow.
Yeah,
so
he
I don't
would have
know,
mentioned
it proves
that
our
'cause
point,
he,
but, you know.
He likes to play Pai Gow. He would have mentioned that.
He does mention quick quads. Let's talk about that a little bit in case people don't know what that is. Yeah, Bob Dancer's always talking about it on Gambling with an Edge. It's video poker where if you have 3 of a kind of a card, if the other 2 cards in your hand add up
to the
card,
right,
it counts as 4 of a kind. So like in Todd's case, 10, 10, 10, 6, 4.
Right.
Or if you had 8, 8, 8, 3, 5.
Right.
That counts as 4 of a kind. You get credit for that. Yep. So,
Yeah.
and it only applies to 4 of a kind, deuces through 10s. So you can't
Right.
have...
Well, yeah, how could you add up to a queen?
Right, exactly. You know, unless you count it as a 10, but no. So aces don't count and face cards don't count.
If you get queen, 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 king, ace. So it's like the king -1.
King -1. Well, it does kind of get interesting because let's say you have trip 2s. Well, the only way for quick quads in that case
Right.
is to have ace, ace.
Ace, right.
So even though that's a full house, no, that's 4 of a kind. But see, that's the only way for quick quads
to get
deuces,
4 2s.
right?
To get 4
you know, the
2s.
higher the number, the more combinations there are,
10's
right?
going to be the most.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
All right, next up is our buddy Robin from Anytime Gambling.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Robin from Connecticut. Hope you're doing well. I want to tell you I had my first craps win after all these years.
Wow.
I went and played craps with cousin Vito, and he and his wife and I, and he was giving us some tips, of course, and well, they worked. He was a great teacher, and I ended up $100 to the good. So that was a great day. I also ended up $400 to the good on Pai Gow after 3 hours on the same day as well, so that was good. The MGM Springfield tier match, yes, they are matching tiers, but they're not letting it out to the public. You have to go to find out what you can match. Fortunately for me, I had the Ocean Black card, the top tier Black card. They were interested in that and matched me up to Platinum. So I was really happy with that, and I'm going to be staying at MGM Springfield the 27th and 28th, I believe. They offered 2 free nights, and so I took it. And finally, a while back, you were wondering why the Foxwoods card was called the Wonder Card, first tier. It basically goes back to the original theme where it was called Foxwoods, the Wonder of It All. And so that's why that first tier card is called the Wonder Card. There you go. A little bit of trivia that probably no one really cares, but anyways, I cleared that up. All right, you guys. Great stuff as always. Good gambling, good craps in the future, and we'll catch you later. Bye.
Are you good with that, Mike? Are you happy with that?
No, I'm
Wonder
glad.
Card?
Thank you, Robin. I'm glad somebody cleared that up. Wonder Card. So that makes sense, right? So it's kind of like Harrah's having the 7-star.
Which is like they're on their logo, right? The 7 stars on their logo.
The 7-star on their logo being the highest. I mean, maybe Wonder should be the highest since that was their name, right?
Well, but then, when they open up, everybody gets a Wonder Card.
Yeah. Oh, there
right?
you go.
See,
right.
so everybody.
So just real quick before we get back to Robin's, I went out to Hamul Casino.
Yeah, you almost call it Hollywood. Yeah, because it's just Hamul Casino.
Now it's just Hamul. And I had to get a new card because I had the old Hollywood card. It's not Hollywood anymore.
Right.
So when I went to get my gift, my free gift that I was there for, they said, you need a new card. Okay, give me a new card. I'm a Ruby.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. I walked away. I got home. My daughter, whose name is Ruby, says, "Oh, it's Ruby." And I said, "Yeah, it must be one of the levels." So Ruby must be one of the levels. I have no idea what level that is. I haven't played there hardly
They're
at
independent now, so I have no idea too.
Yeah, I didn't even ask.
Look it up. We'll look it up for the next show. But
I'm just going to say Ruby's high.
Well, they. I don't know though. If they had you on record though, right? Because they were giving you a gift and everything.
Yeah, well, they were giving me $100.
I want to say you were at their.
Card.
You were like the 2nd tier level when it was Hollywood. I can't remember.
Yeah, I say we haven't played there that much.
Hey, I'll tell you, this might be the time to play the whole tier level card game. Well, with all these new casinos opening, especially on the East Coast.
Right.
I think Craig and Kyle actually talked about this a little bit on a recent episode of Due for a Win. I think it was episode 78. How, if you do it in the right order, you can get the best cards, right? Because like Robin was saying, Ocean Black, that's their top level, right? So then he was able to get M Life Platinum, which is their top level. So it worked out good for him.
Yeah.
And Robin, your first craps win. Oh my gosh, we need to get him at a table with us some more.
Yeah, well, he's been at a table with us. I can't believe he hasn't won.
Yeah,
Didn't we have a win at downtown Vegas at
I don't know, at Vimp a few years back?
Yeah,
Was he at a table with us? All right, well, Robin, next time we see you.
I kind of thought we had a win at Golden Gate.
Yeah,
Robin was playing.
I don't know if he.
Maybe not.
Well, all right. Next time we see you, Robin, we'll definitely get it. We'll guarantee a win.
I guarantee it. I'll make sure Robin wins more than $100.
Okay. All right. Next up is Nick.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Nick. I'm calling from Northern Virginia. I've been a listener for a long time, and I've been wanting to call for a while, and I finally decided to go ahead and do it. I had a little trip before. I was down to the Dominican Republic, and they had a little casino at my resort. 3-2 blackjack. It was great. Made a little bit of money the first night. Second 2 nights, I broke about even. But being there, I had a question. They had really great rules on their live dealt games, $5 and $10 minimum tables. And they also had a video blackjack machine that had way worse rules. So the live table had 3-2 blackjack, and the video had 6-5 blackjack. And I've noticed this in Las Vegas, too, that even at the casinos that have live 6-5 blackjack, the video ones will have 1-to-1 blackjack for some reason. And I was just wondering if you had any idea why they would make the video blackjack have worse rules than the live blackjack, assuming they would make more money and want to draw more people to the video ones because it costs less to run those machines. Anyway, I love the show, and I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you.
Well, it's kind of like how the lower limit table games have worse rules than the higher limit games.
Right.
The casino wants to make money on both. And if the rules are, good on both, they're going to make a lot less money on the lower limit game. But if they make the rules worse on the lower limit game, then they'll make more money than they would otherwise.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of the reason they do it on the machines, because typically you can bet a lot less on the machines. Plus, if you make the rules really bad on the machines, there's less chance of an advantage player, figuring out how to beat the game.
Trying to beat the game, yeah.
So,
so it's a quality quantity type thing.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So I think that's pretty much it. Yep. All right, let's hear from a new craps player.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Brody from Dayton, Ohio. Just giving you a call to tell you about a recent trip to the Jack Casino in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I have been wondering how to play craps forever and even reached out on Twitter to y'all for some advice. But finally got a chance to be at the Jack Casino in Cincinnati with a friend of mine. who was kind of showing me his strategy, and I was afraid to jump in, but at some point I couldn't take it because my friend John got on this amazing roll and just was rolling and rolling and rolling. He and another gentleman were basically covering almost every number on the board. So I joined in with them, and they just kind of told me what to do. Well, the next thing you know, my buddy John was up $700, and I was up $150, which took care of a $100 loss at blackjack earlier. But I got to learn how to play craps. In terms of new craps players, is there a strategy that is essentially somewhat safe in the beginning for those of us who just want to continue to observe and get our feet wet? My friend's strategy has been to basically play the field and place the 6 and the 8 and the 5. I mean, basically cover every number that's not on the field. And so if you don't 7 out, then you're pretty much getting something, whether it's, $6 or, whatever on the roll. So I guess that's my question is, that all seems fine until you 7 out and then you lose whatever we had on the table, almost $70. So what is the safest strategy for new craps players to follow and just begin to feel and read the table? So thank you for the podcast and demystifying craps a little bit for me. And thanks a lot for all the entertainment you provide. And I'm looking forward to the next time I can go and hit the table again and feel a little more confident. That's it. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, the safest strategy. That's a tough word to use.
The safest strategy would be not to play.
Just walk by the table. Yeah,
just walk by and keep on walking.
Get in your car and drive away. Well, we will say that your friend is playing a system called the Iron Cross, which is very popular. You bet the field, and then you also place the 5, 6, and 8. That way, any number comes up other than 7, and you'll win. The two big problems with that are, number one, 5, 6, and 8 come up quite a bit. And when they do, you're not winning very much.
Right.
You're only winning a little bit because that field bet loses.
So you're taking the two most common numbers besides 7, 6 and 8.
And the 5.
And the 5. And you're saying that when they come up, I'm just going to win a little tiny bit.
Right.
So, for me, no way I'm doing that.
The second problem for that is high house edge in the field and on the 5 place bet.
Right.
The 6 and 8 are okay, but big house edges there. So we would not recommend that. If you like playing that way, again, we say that's fine.
Anything can happen in the short run. We should qualify that. Playing the Iron Cross, to me, is like there's 7 horses in a horse race, and you bet on all of them to win. Right? So if the long shot wins, you might make some money.
Okay, right. Uh-huh.
But if the favorite wins, you lose money.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me in the long run.
Yeah. You get on a roll where he's rolling field numbers like crazy, especially 12s and 2s. Yeah, you're going to do fine. Yeah.
Guy rolls a bunch of 6s and 8s, you won a few bucks.
Yeah.
Right?
What we recommend for new players is make a pass line bet and maybe a couple come bets. Maybe take single odds, put out odds according to your bankroll. Don't go crazy with that. Right. And that's a good way to go. If you prefer place bets, the old come bets versus place bets, make a pass line bet with odds and place the 6 and 8 only. Now, we're not going to say that's safe, but it's conservative. Maybe that's a better word.
Conservative. And with a little bit of luck, you can win.
Might make some money. Yeah.
I'll say this. My wife plays the same way every time.
That's very true.
She takes a pass line bet with odds, and she makes one comeback with odds. And that's all she does. And if her comeback comes down, she'll take another comeback. But she never has more than those 2 numbers. And I'm not kidding. I think she's won 80 to 90% of the time she's played craps.
Well, I will say this. There have been plenty of times where she's done that. We've walked away from a table losers and she's been a winner.
Right.
The issue is, can you do that? Are you able to emotionally do that? Because it's not a lot of action.
No. And you have to sit there, when you go up to a 10 and then you just sit there and wait.
Right. Your number, you have 5 on the pass line, your come bet's on 10, and then the guy goes on a heater where he's rolling 6, 8, 9, 6, 6, 8.
You've got to be mentally able to withstand that. Yep. I'm not that strong.
Nope. No, you're not.
She's got a much stronger constitution, I should say.
All right, last call.
Hey, Mark and Mike. This is David from Fort Worth, Texas. I had a couple things. First off, some people have been wanting to know if WinStar in Oklahoma, when they're going to have live craps. And I'm here to say it's there right now. I went on this past Tuesday afternoon and played for a few hours, and it's there. No more cards, thank goodness. second, I have a question, and I've asked a few people. No one seems to know the answer, so I'll give you guys a shot. I was playing Let It Ride at Four Queens earlier this year, and everywhere I've played Let It Ride always has a $1 bonus. You know, Louisiana, wherever you play, even Oklahoma, they have it. But for some reason, at Four Queens, they make you play $2 on that bonus bet. Now, I'm not going to call it a $1 bonus bet because obviously they make you play $2, and I don't know why. And I've asked people there to say there was a language barrier. Sometimes didn't quite understand what they were talking about, or it was just too noisy. And I just, for some reason, however they explain it, doesn't make sense. So maybe you guys will know, and if not, maybe some of your listeners would know. All right, that's all I got. Appreciate it. Love the show.
No idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. I would, if I had to venture a guess, I would just say somebody who's in charge of gaming, there, you know, decided, hey, well, enough people make that bet on a regular basis. Let's just make $2 a minimum.
Yeah.
Just kind of like they.
It's probably as simple as that. I agree.
Right. Just like a lot of casinos have gone up to $5 minimum bet on the repeaters.
On the repeaters?
On the repeaters.
Is that right? That's the first time you've said that.
No,
Did you see that in Vegas?
I saw it in Vegas. There were a couple of places that just $5 minimum on the repeaters. Now, it was a $25 table.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, $5 minimum. They didn't want to hassle with all the dollars.
Yeah.
And the all tall, all small, I've had a couple places where it's $5.
Sure, that we've heard about. Yeah.
So
no, but you're probably right. If it's $2, the casino's going to make more money. Yeah, David, you'd probably have to just keep asking higher and higher up the chain until somebody says, "Oh yeah, we just made this
admits
decision."
to it that, well, we just want to make more money.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Hey, we want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Brian Dancer for his recurring donation. I actually contacted Brian, and I asked him if we could use his last name. You know, a lot of times people, you know, call into the show or contribute to the show, and they'd prefer that we not use their last name. So unless we actually hear from you and you say, yeah, you can use my last name, we won't do it. It's like Eric Anderson. Right? We never asked Eric Anderson if we could use his last name. So we never refer to him as Eric Anderson. He's always Eric, who's not Eric Rosenthal.
Right.
So that's why we've never referred to him as Eric Anderson.
He's in the witness protection program. We just gave away his
Also, thanks to Brian and Sarah for their recurring donation. Also, from Will, thanks for playing my call. I always enjoy hearing your reactions to my crap stories. Also, a donation from Michael James. He said, I don't believe in karma. However, as a craps and poker player, I do have superstitions. That said, I've gotten crushed my last 3 trips to Nevada, all after donating to you. If I don't come back with at least some money after this trip, maybe I'll have to start donating to one of those other podcasts. I think that's fine, Michael. We have no problem with that. That's good. They're good
fair.
people. Yeah,
that's fair.
Flying out Thursday evening, August 30th, coming back Labor Day evening. Thanks again for all the good work. Also, a donation from David. He says, karma donations never work for me, but karma be damned, I'm donating anyway. May your 6s and 8s always be hard. There you go. Yes, we never claimed they did.
Gee, I hope David and Michael both have monster trips the next time.
I know, me too. Also from Todd Goddess for my first Royal Flush. Yep, congratulations, Todd.
Great.
Also, a donation from Eric. He said, another karma donation for a quick weekender in Vegas. The last karma donation for a South Lake Tahoe trip didn't bring any parlayed hardways, but it did net me a couple video poker hand pays. Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, that's nice.
One of them being a Royal on the redraw with no cards held. Oh, can you imagine?
No cards held?
You get garbage, you throw everything away, and then you're dealt a Royal? My gosh.
Is this the make Mike sad day? I mean, we got people calling in all the time. Oh, I got a Royal, I got another Royal, I got another Royal. And this person actually just draws a Royal.
Got rid of every single card. Oh, he goes on to say, I think I know the reason you guys haven't hit a Royal yet. It's because you're sending over all your good luck to your listeners. Oh, there you go.
That's
well,
nice.
I guess that's what we're doing.
I'm going to claim that. Let's claim that.
Also from Amber, she says, hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is a karma donation for the hard 6 I'm going to roll and press this weekend when I meet my aunt in Vegas. Then I have work stuff, but I'm going to try to stop by Seminole Hard Rock in Tampa. All right, good luck, Amber. Good. Also from Brandon, he says, thanks for the great show. A PayPal donation from Alton. Thanks very much. Also one from Adrian. Karma donation going to Belize this weekend and wagering on the hermit crab races at the Crazy Canucks bar. Nice.
Wow.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Crazy Canucks bar. They get a lot of Canadians in Belize? Probably, I guess.
Also, a donation from Dr. Taylor. He says it's a royal flush donation for Tara Labor Day weekend. That's right. She's trying to hit here. They're going to be there for 360 Vegas Vacation 7.
I'm going to make a prediction. She gets 2 of them.
Wow.
In the same weekend.
All right. That's quite a
what
prediction.
we need.
And then finally, a donation from Lynn. She says, Karma donation for upcoming Vegas trip. Hoping to have some good luck, and my husband doesn't yell out a random casino name, Muckleshoot.
Wow.
Lynn.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't think.
Well, I
ever...
hope she won.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope it went well for her and her husband, whoever that might be.
Crazy. He must be a Canuck.
Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at Facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. All right, what do you got, Dr. Mike?
Hey, Mark, it's finally here. Tonight, Thursday night, because we're doing this later, is the last preseason NFL game.
That is correct. They're all playing tonight.
They're all playing tonight, and they're all done tonight. Thank God.
Okay.
And then next Thursday, a week from today, we will have real NFL football.
It starts, yeah. Look forward to
So I have no NFL football pools I'm in this year.
Okay, other than the Survivor pool, we got in with Tim Lawson. We just
Right.
entered that today. Yeah,
Right.
okay.
But I mean, none right here.
Right, and the 33 pool with our buddy
With
Ed.
Ed,
So I
right.
just want to make it clear there are a couple. Okay, that's
all out of town.
all right. Go ahead.
But I am in a college football pool.
Oh yes, that's right. With one of your bowling friends.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to give my college football picks every podcast, and we'll see how they do.
Okay. Well, now keep in mind we do this bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Right.
So the next podcast, I'll have to give you what I picked the week we missed and the upcoming week.
You sure you don't want me to post? Maybe I could tweet your picks each week so people
there you
can
go.
see it,
You could
and then they can,
see how
decide what the
see how I'm doing, see how I am.
I read the rules. It's actually a very good pool. It's too complicated to explain on the show. But I found it very interesting and fun. I thought it was a great
right. I
format.
forwarded you those rules because I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
It's pretty well done. There's only one flaw in it. And that's that.
Well, don't go into it. It's so confusing, but I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, why don't you get, I'll tweet your picks each week.
Okay.
But what are you doing this week?
Here's my picks for this weekend.
Right.
This coming weekend. I have to pick 3 games. One of them's my best bet.
Okay. And what's your best bet
My
this
best
week?
bet is Penn State giving away 24.5 points.
Okay. And they're playing
Appalachian State.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
believe.
Okay. So right.
I picked
you're
Penn State.
Okay, good.
Because I'm a big Penn State fan.
Okay.
And number 2 pick is a conference that
right, and it's got to be Pac-12 this week.
This week
it has
Pac-12.
to be Pac-12, right?
And unfortunately, I'm going with Stanford
over San Diego State.
Over San Diego State minus 14.5.
Yeah, it's
over
probably
San Diego
a good
State.
bet.
State beat them last year
here at home
at State. It's in Stanford this time. It was a big loss for Stanford last year. Kind of got them off on the wrong foot. They didn't have a great season. They have a great running back who's back this year. Yeah. So I think Stanford's going to romp them.
Okay.
And then the last pick is you have to pick an underdog of at least 7 or more points.
Okay.
And the underdog actually has to win the game.
Oh, not just cover, but win.
Not just cover, but
okay.
win. So you can't take like a 7.5 underdog and they win by, or they lose by 6 and you win.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have to win the game.
Okay.
And after much deliberation, I went with Hawaii to beat Navy.
Okay.
Hawaii actually played the game already this year, one of the early games.
Oh.
And on the 25th, I think they played and they won in an upset. Right. And that was on the road. So now they're at home. So I'm hoping they're 11-point underdog, but they've got to win straight out.
Yeah. Okay.
So those are my 3 picks for this week. We'll see how I do. I was the only one in the pool. I might mention I was the only one with these 3 picks. Nobody else
picked any of those
games.
All right. Well, that could be good or bad for you.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. There was a lot of crossover on other people, but for me, there was nobody who picked those games.
All right. Well, good luck. All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.